Another story, guys. Remember, this is just a role play. Once upon a time, there was a goose called Sam, also known as Samantha. And Sam lost his mother. They both got captured in a cage, and they don't know. They forgot where each other were. They can't even remember who they are, which was really sad. And Sam doesn't know where his mom is. All he knows is like she's in a cage somewhere. That's all he knows. He doesn't know where she is or anything like that. He doesn't know anywhere she is. All he knows is she's in a cage, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but here's the story. Once upon a time, there was a baby goose and there was a mama goose. They went looking for food, and a hunter came and they took each other apart. So the mum goose is somewhere here, but the sad news is no one knows where the mama goose is. They have never seen her ever again. So that's why this baby wants to find him, because they want to find his home, and then he wants to go back home. Me editing it again, my laptop does make a funny new noise, like as you are hearing now. So I'm sorry about that. So anyway, back to the story. So he would do anything for his and anybody else for his mum to come back, and they can be together again. But he doesn't know that his mum is going to be in a cage forever. He doesn't know if she's in the hospital getting healed. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know if his mum's hurt in the hospital or if other humans took it. She doesn't know anything. She's really sad because she had to sleep on a bench. And on the floor. It's really heartbreaking, I know. But I think she knows that she will find her mum one day. But not today, though, because in the morning, she went on a hunt. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm getting out of this cage. She, with her all strength, she came out and ran away from the disgrace. She saw a red cage that her mum could fit in, but she was not there. She was worried that her mum was like lost and hurt, or anywhere else. She was scared. So just in case she was at the hospital and not being treated, she went there and just looked around to see even cages. But she went in the healing room, so maybe she could find something there, but she was not there. She looked and looked and looked and looked around, but could not see anything compared to her, until she found a goose in a cage. And since she didn't know what her mum looked like, she didn't know anything, so she checked her out because her mum had like a special spot, and she had it in her. So Sam was so happy that she finally found her mum. And she was so happy. She slept, and his mum woke up. She put Sam on her back and just cuddled her. And then they went out for a ride while Sam was still sleeping. And they just flew. And Sam woke up that one day and just saw her mum flying everywhere. It was so blessing. But her mum couldn't steer very well because her wing was not very good. And it crashed into a tree. Sam wasn't very happy. He was actually crying at this point. He couldn't move his mum. He was not functioning enough. Sam couldn't do anything. Sam cried for his mum. He thought it was okay, but maybe my mum just wanted it was the last time that she went out for a fly, maybe. Who knows? Who knows if Sam's mum even loved her that one day. Sam started to cry and just sat there until her mum disappeared. Sam was crying. He cried so much that the tears covered the whole tree. It wasn't very good for him. He had to go to the place that he had to go back to the cage of where he belonged. Otherwise, he wouldn't survive. At least they had food there. They put him in a bigger cage so he had more space. But the thing is that they now have a guard here. Which was really disappointing because now Sam cannot sneak out. Every time and every day, Sam watched the guard go by every 5 seconds. The guard, every single time, looked in her cage to make sure she's okay. But not in a good way, in a bad way. She quacks at them. And just went away again. She did that every single day. And even when Sam was sleeping, she woke him up with a goose. Sam was frustrated. She hated the guard. The guard was so cruel. But she couldn't sneak out anymore because the guard was guarding every 5 seconds. So she couldn't do anything. Unless she made friends with the guard, which wasn't. So Sam figured it out really fast. Since the guard goes up every 5 seconds on his tree trunk and he's always sleeping all the time, Sam has a chance to escape. But one thing, he just froze with fear. He froze with fear for some reason. And he saw the guard coming. He ran away. He kept on running until he just froze because the guard was quacking at him. The guards did not like that. The guard picked him up in his beak and just hitting him with a wall. It was not very nice. And only then, the guard did the most horrible thing that a bird can do. He flew up into the sky and dropped her, and then came back down. Picked her up, and just flew again to make her go back into her cage. But this time, my friend, this time she had a brand new cage inside of a tiny container. It was not very nice, to be honest with you, but she had to stay there, otherwise she had no home, and if she had no home, then what? I'll be AFK, so but you can carry on with the story. You can fast forward it. I'm just gonna be back, okay? Hey guys, sorry about that. Anyway, back to this story. She had no home, she had nowhere to live. The guard was so mean. The guard finally flew away. He had enough of him, but he guarded him for ages. Luckily, Sam brought a stick with leaves so at least he could eat. But God didn't like that, so he made him throw it out. Sam was so hungry, he couldn't do anything until the guard brought him a mouse to eat. And let me tell you something. He did not like mouses. He hated it. So the guard kept feeding him mouses. And he didn't stop feeding him mouses. He doesn't care that he didn't care that Sam has hunger. He just cared about himself. And his mom is gone. Sam finally grew up. And since he grew up, he could not get out of the thing. And he thought it was a trap, but then he flew, and he can still not move, so this was a trap. This was a whole trap. The swan wanted him to age up that, no wonder why it was so. Since it was a bit big, the guard swan, picked him up in his beak. And Sam was flown away into a bigger, fatter cage. Sam did like that he was getting a bigger cage, but at the same time, he was stuck with this forever. He was stuck with doing with this every single day until he died. This wasn't a good reason. He hated this. He hated it that he had to sleep on a perch. One time the guard felt real bad, so he went to to the shop and brought Sam some meat and bananas. Sam was really hungry. He didn't even eat anything. He didn't even eat his mouse. So the guardswoman gave him some meat. And Sam really liked that, but he still didn't forgive the guardswoman only because he did all this for him to forgive. The guardswoman was really sorry. He didn't understand how much pressure he was on with Sam. Sam did not like the guardswoman anymore. So guardswoman just went. Sam is his whole life. If it's his whole life, he even died in there. The guardsman came back and just saw him. He opened the gate immediately and he was like, I'm so sorry. And they were never seeing each other again. The guardsman hated himself. He hated that he was so mean to himself, to people. So he just started to cry and wag his tail. He cried and cried and cried. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It's just a roleplay. Sorry if it was a bit sad, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button in the face, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!